What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going through day 2 of the ExitNine 7-day challenge, and whatever ExitNine tells me to do, I will carry on and follow through. I'll be documenting the process and uploading this on YouTube and holding myself accountable. So here we go. So day 2. So my task for day 2 is to write down where I'm at currently, what's holding you back, and what you need clarity on most. So what I will do here is just open up another document to have on the side, and then we're going to write down in our draft section, which has a built-in feature in ExitNine where you can actually write down and reflect on the process. So day 2 is focus on journaling, where you are at now, what's holding you back, and what you need clarity on most. So let's open this draft and get this done. So this is what you'll be prompted to. So today is the entry. This is your journal, and basically this is where you come out your way and you journal and reflect on the process, right? So my starting point. So what feels most important to write about today? Reflecting, resetting, exploring, focusing, release, or grow. What resonates with me the most? Right now, I would probably say focus. What matters for me? What matters most for me right now? Your starting point. So this would be your title. So with focus being the most important thing and why it matters, then we have to relate it to a title, right? That title being focused on achieving and becoming 1% better every day, and compounding and documenting the process. So here's your starting point. So today I'm using this entry to get clearer on. So your starting point. I'm using this entry to get clearer on. So your starting point would be the title being the focus on achieving and becoming 1% better. To be 1% better, how do you enter that process to become 1% better? Well, it comes up with these few things. It comes up with discipline, right? If you're not disciplined, you're not going to take action. Action, right? Focus. Consistency. These are somewhat entries which will lead you into the process of becoming and achieving this goal, right? If you're consistent, you show up to work, you get the job done, you get paid. If you take action, you say you're going to do this, or you speak to someone about this, you must take action and do it, right? Discipline, showing up when you don't want to do it, but you just do it like you love it, right? That's what discipline really is at the end of the day. So I'm going to go further and look into this. The exit direction I could test. What realistic pathway from my current work could I explore without creating unnecessary risk? What's a realistic pathway? The first realistic pathway would be to document the process of developing my habits and staying in control with my life and make the correct decisions where suitable. What's a realistic pathway from my current work? First pathway would be to document the process, right? And the reason why I say this is because when you document the process and you try to stay in control with your life and you make the right decisions where suitable, this then leads to a automated process, and eventually you develop a personal brand. This brand will allow you to identify yourself within the online world, and by showing up and taking action, just like normally do at work. In this case, when I'm at work, I have to utilize the following skills to get things done, such as communication, organization, being punctual, open to talking to, or open to being adaptable in any situation due to the constant changes of environment based on the construction activities which occur on site. So, what's a realistic pathway from my current work could I explore without taking unnecessary risk? This path will not create too much risk, because because it just it's the process of finding out what you want to do. Of course, there are risks, but the risks that develop in this kind of environment won't have a financial impact, or it won't have a financial risk, right? When you're uploading videos, there's no financial risk, whereas if you're putting your money somewhere where you don't know if you're gonna make something, that's more risky, because you never know what the outcome is, right? So that's one pathway, without creating unnecessary risk. Pathway number 2 is something I'd have to find out and develop a bit more and understand. Who could I speak to, research, or observe to understand this path better? The person who I can reach out to, or do outreach in this case, would be to find someone who is already living the lifestyle that I want to live. because right now I'm not, right? I have to wake up, early hours, leave at the job, leave the house at 6:40 a.m. and I don't return until 6:30 to 7 p.m. So someone who is got experience and by taking small nuggets of information from that person, or even some tips, this will help guide me and understand which path I want to develop on further. And yeah, develop on further, because if you think about this right very deeply, you could look at someone's lifestyle and say, okay, if you're gonna live that person's lifestyle, you have to do X, Y, and Z, right? You have to learn X, Y, and Z. And this is what life doesn't prepare you with. It doesn't acknowledge you with these kind of things. It just throws you in the ball and you just have to show up, right? So yeah, what's the biggest practical, financial, skill, or confident risk in this direction? I would say practical risk, financial, skill risk. I would say the risk that you need to reduce. The biggest practical risk in this direction, financial. I would say a financial risk. There isn't really a financial risk in the path of actually going into content creation, but I would say there could be a confidence risk. The reason why is because you're putting yourself out there in the unknown world of the internet, where you don't know who is going to click on the video, as it's all based on the algorithms that YouTube pushes. So the key thing being comfortable behind camera by developing this skill. And I've been taking action on this as I'm posting videos as we speak, to document the process of what occurs in the next direction. What thought, fear, habit, or practical constraint could keep me stuck? One being practical constraint. Practical constraint is obviously being practical constraint is being at work, as you're not in the desired location of physically being in a creative state of matter. Brain works in certain ways, and you have to adapt to this. But fear habitual. I'd say I don't really have much fear with uploading videos, because at the end of the day, it's all for yourself, and it's all out there just to push for other people, right? So they gain an insight into your life and things that you want to do. What thought, fear, habit, or practical constraint could keep me stuck? Uh, what fear, habit, or practical constraint could keep me stuck? This is what I have for now, but I'll probably review this later. What support, structure, clarity, or accountability would help me make progress safely? 1. By having a structured protocol in place, which will allow me to keep up the consistency, such as ExitNine provides this challenge, and this will make further progress if I show up. What support structure, clarity, or accountability would help you? What support structure, clarity, or accountability would help me make progress safely? Yeah, having a structured protocol in place. Structure, accountability, clarity. I think all these things ultimately come down to how you are as a person at the same time, right? If you don't have these things, then they will not actually impact you. Over the next couple of days, this structured protocol will be me documenting the process. Do not forget. So that comes into account. What support structure, clarity, or accountability would help me make progress safely? I think that's the only thing I can think of. And what is one small action you can complete in under 30 minutes? It could be learning a new language, developing or testing a new video editing software, or to get to grips with it. Upload or document video based on what you wrote down / learn. So yeah, there's many things to take into consideration. And in terms of my current mood, I would say, can you pick more than one here? Okay. Steady, heavy, clear, restless, hopeful, anxious, overwhelmed, motivated, stuck, drained, frustrated, grateful, confident, lonely, excited, numb, and happy. I'd say I'm focused, and I'd say I'm steady. I would not say I'm overwhelmed. I'm not motivated. I'm not not really stuck, but I drained. I am grateful, 100%. I'm always grateful. Confident, lonely, excited, numb, and happy. When you are ready, generate a reflection. It will appear here as an extension of your entry, not a separate report. So we'll save the entry. Okay, so yeah, there's your entry done. That's day 2 done. Yeah. Alright, peace out, guys.